Tales of Estolia. Written by Sashina Kerfman. Volume 1. The Promise of Zacharias. Part 6. Prophecy. Chapter 12. Keeping the Soul.
When you become the keeper, you will come to understand that your Kaylee, the woman who keeps your soul, is, and always shall be, the most critical, pivotal, and significant person in Estolia. Blessing given to Lazarus, Ezekiel Zakarian.
She had to choose what she was going to do, and it felt as impossible now as it was the moment Nico the stranger proposed to her. She knew beyond doubting that she could not reject him. Her heart would break if she left him, and yet, she was not sure she could accept him. His brother urged her to have faith in herself above all other things, but that did not change the internal argument raging within her.
"What will I do?"
she blurted out. He got to his feet and pulled her slowly into his arms.
As the Kaylee of the keeper, yours is truly the position of greatest importance. I cannot keep the soul of Estolia if my own soul is not safely in your keeping.
It's not that I don't think you have a critical role to fill, but I just feel like I'll be an unimportant cog in the machinery of Estolia. Perhaps it's selfish, but I want to matter, Nico. I want to do more than just be some awesome support to help you be great.
I cannot explain how it works. I believe you will discover that your role will be much more than you anticipate. Perhaps, Kenzie, you need to understand how much faith I have in you.
Your brother told me the only faith I really needed was in myself.
She moved towards him, her body in contact with his, her arms going around his waist.
Perhaps the time for convincing me with words is past, Nico.
He dipped his head down to kiss her. When he pulled away, he looked at the clock on the wall. It was nearing midnight. He picked up the bottle of Daniele wine and topped off both of their glasses. Handing her glass to her, he picked up his own before grasping her hand in his and giving it a squeeze before leading her away from the ballroom. Soon they were in a part of the palace she had never visited.
This wing is set aside for my tenure as keeper,
he explained.
It is my home. I eat most often with the family, but sometimes I feel like a quiet night at home.
She looked around curiously as he led her through the different rooms. This was her future home. She looked at Nico, realizing she was alone with him for the first time since they met. Every angle and plane of his face was known to her. She had memorized his features, his accent, his dimples, his beautiful eyes. Everything about him was etched in her memory. The true barrier keeping her from fully agreeing to be with him suddenly occurred to her. She had fallen in love with this handsome man. She wanted him, and more than that, she wanted him to love her. She did not want their union to be demanded by tradition, or religion, or peculiar rules. She wanted the only reason for him to be with her, to marry her, was because he loved her to the exclusion of every other woman he had ever known. She needed to matter to him as much as he mattered to her.
What is it, Kenzie?
She could no longer suppress her feelings.
I love you, Nico. I need you to love me the same.
He took the wine glass from her and set it carefully on the desk next to him. Taking both her hands in his, he squeezed them and said to her, his voice thick with emotion.
Kenzie O'Rourke, I have been in love with you from the moment I first saw you. I was terrified my heart would break. How was it possible that a woman so sophisticated and extraordinary could be chaste? How could my heart be involved with a woman who would not fit in Estolia? How could deity let me down by allowing my heart to be stolen? But then, on the tail end of those thoughts, Kenzie, I recognized your extraordinary beauty was enhanced by the glow of an aura. I was frightened then that you would somehow, some way, not only steal my heart, but also prove my faith was misplaced. How could a woman as wonderful as you, from your society, be pure? I was jealous, deeply jealous of all the men who knew you intimately and who had stolen you from my great need. I could not believe everything going through my heart and soul in the short time between first seeing you and actually speaking with you.
She could tell that he meant everything he was saying.
You asked if I was untouched.
She reminded him.
My heart was in my throat when I prepared to ask you that question. I knew in that moment if you were not chaste, not pure, I would never be able to fulfill my destiny and remain the keeper. If you had known one or more men, I was going to forego the deepest, most intense spiritual connection that exists for men of Estolia. I would not seek another woman. I would do everything I could to win you. I fell in love with you, Kenzie, and I would leave my nation and my faith if that was what was necessary to remain with you.